you know, you talk about kind of an unpredictable thing because I like Jeff guarding anybody, but we really thought we had a good matchup with Bass on Carmelo, and we started that way. And Carmelo got going like Carmelo can get going. It didn't really matter who was guarding him. And then, but Jeff went to a different level in the last 8 minutes than he was in the first stint at guarding him late in the first half. And that's really encouraging to see because I really thought he did a great job. But, you know, other guys did too. We got switched on to him a couple times. Vitor got switched on to him twice and did a phenomenal job keeping him in front and challenging the shot. You know, some of those shots are going to go in anyways, but, you know, it makes it harder if a 6'11" guy's in front of you.
It was good. I'm happy for Vitor. You know, Coach Steven said his minutes been real inconsistent, which they have. And for the simple fact that he sat there and been a pro, never complained, never did anything. And it really helped him out tonight. And he played great. It helped us win. And I think every single guy has helped this team win in our, 11 wins this year. We're just being pros around here.
Okay, so the Celtics beat the Knicks 90-86. The first half was when the Celtics were playing their best ball. They had a big lead in the first half. Jared Sullinger, one of the main reasons for that happening. Evans, on the block, high post, low post, face up, back to the basket especially. Sullinger was just humiliating Andrea Bargnani, who of course is known as maybe the worst defender in all of basketball. And he definitely looked at tonight.
Up there.
Yeah, I mean, he was basically just backing him down and scoring at will. I mean, Sullinger's got a really big butt, and he just like pushed it into Bargnani time and time again, backed him down, got a layup, did it again, and
that big butt
couldn't fail.
You cannot lie.
They can't.
Can't lie.
Or we can't. Or I don't know.
17-7 for Sully in the first half. I just looked because I couldn't remember how many rebounds. And yeah, we talked about it in the last video. The first half dominant, second half was able to sort of rein it in a little bit, and he was okay with sort of sitting on the bench. And he picked up that fourth foul that was kind of a dumb frustration type foul under the basket. I don't even know if it was a foul, but he got called for it. And I think after that, Brad Stevens was just kind of like, okay, well, let's try something different.
Yeah. Brad Stevens know that there's 6 fouls in a game in the NBA, not 5.
Well, Sully knew it last year. He led the league in fouls per game last year.
You probably learned that well.
Yeah. But yeah, just I guess to go off what Evan said, I mean, Sully just outbodied Bargnani. Bargnani's not a guy that's going to push back. You know what I mean? He's just going to let you in there and head on down to the 3-point line and wait for the ball to come back his way. So, I mean, that was a matchup that I think the Celtics liked going into this one.
Well, the funny thing is, you say push back. He pushed, I guess, forward to be the opposite of push back, because when Sully would put his body into him, Bargnani would keep backing down.
Yeah.
Like, Sully, for the most part, didn't have to back him down. It's like Bargnani would step back to the basket, give the move to Sully.
Just kept pulling the chair out from under him, but Sully wasn't affecting him in any way at all.
To be fair, we should note that all this abuse that Sully gave to Bargnani did the same thing to Kelly Olynyk.
That's true.
Yeah.
Olynyk was equally ineffective on the defensive end, and Bargnani could push him around and score in the paint. He could knock down a jump shot when nobody closed out on him. I mean, Bargnani played well offensively. He scored 22 points, had 7 rebounds. He was a good player tonight. He just couldn't play any D.
Yeah, and some of that might have been Olynyk, first game back from the injury.
Yeah.
He said he felt fine after the game, but he obviously didn't play a full, 14 minutes. Like you said, didn't look that great on defense, and offensively he wasn't doing much at all anyway. So I think you'll see improvement on Monday, and so on and so forth, as long as he stays healthy. So.
Yeah, I mean, I asked Kelly after the game, did you just kind of run out of? Yeah, I almost said Sully. Did you run out of steam at the end there because you were hurt? And he said, yeah. And that was it. That was
nice. Good question. Questions are the best.
It was a great question. I'm a very talented reporter, obviously. But a team that doesn't have a ton of talent right now, the Knicks, they have some very bad.
That's an understatement of the year.
So they have guys like Shumpert and Smith who have been brutal for the most part this season. Bargnani, although he did end up.
Chris Smith? Are you talking about Chris Smith?
Of course.
He's been pretty bad.
Both those guys had, I think, 3 points tonight. It was awful for them, and that's very indicative of the season that they've been having.
Shumpert had 3.
Okay, but Felton's out for the next couple weeks, and they're in major trouble right now. They're trying to make a trade for Kyle Lowry, but that deal fell apart over the weekend. Is Kyle Lowry even the answer to get this team back to being title contenders?
No, of course not. He's
title contenders?
Well, that's what they're supposed to be. Yeah.
He is a slightly more than lateral move over Felton. I mean, you're not going to change your team that much, upgrading a tiny little bit of the point guard spot. That's not what we're talking about here.
Right. And Lowry's a guy who's been injured numerous times in his career. I mean, what's the deal with his? I know he's healthy now, but it's only a matter of time, it seems like, before he gets injured, and he'll be sitting right next to Felton. Listen, the Knicks have...
Also, when Lowry's healthy, he needs the ball. And you got a guy named Carmelo Anthony on your team. Like, it's not going to work. Ball,
it's like the black hole. I thought Carmelo tonight was just classic Carmelo.
I mean
throwing the ball away at the
black
fourth
hole,
quarter.
Getting blocked by Green under the basket. I mean, hoisting shots that just weren't going to go.
26 on 24 shots.
Reading the Mike Woodson, I wasn't there for Woodson after the game, but I read the quote, and he literally threw any player he could think of under the bus tonight. Literally. He's like, I just need more.
I wasn't getting anything from this guy or this guy or that guy. So,
it's going to be a bumpy ride home.
I wasn't there for it, but I literally think he had the roster. I was like, I wasn't getting anything from Melo or J.R. Smith or Shumpert. And it's true. J.R. Smith took one shot tonight. That just smells of mutiny. That smells of, let's get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
You can't score if you don't shoot, okay? J.R. Smith has never been shy of shooting. No. For him to not shoot at all until whenever it was he shot, and only take one shot, I mean, come on. Well, you're not doing enough to help your team win the game in that situation. And I think that there's something more to that. I don't think...
Well, it's Rihanna's fault, isn't it?
I don't think we're going to be talking about Mike Woodson for that much longer. I really don't. I think tonight might be either the straw that broke the camel's back or the straw that put him into the ICU.
It's a straw for sure, yeah.
Well, it seemed like Dolan gave Woodson a warning after the last blowout from the Celtics. Woodson, I mean, he's been on thin ice. It seems like the ice is pretty much packed around him. It's just a matter of when it's going to
I think
he was an interim coach to begin with, right?
He was.
He was like never really
given
the job.
They could have gone for. There are plenty of coaching candidates after D'Antoni got fired. They could have gone with someone. They went with Woodson.
But he's never been secure in this position like the year plus that he's had it. I mean, it's just kind of been.
I mean, I don't
waiting
know
for the next
I don't know
guy,
Woodson,
right?
I don't know Woodson at all personally. I've never talked to the guy, but he just seems like one of those coaches where it's just like that NBA thing where they just recycle coaches and you can't get a new guy. And Brad Stevens is a perfect example. Brilliant mind, a guy who's in college, never got a chance in the pros. Celtics could have hired a guy like Mike Woodson to come coach the team for a couple, but no, like
Larry Drew.
Yeah, they got creative, and Stevens seems like a coach. But how many teams can Woodson, coach and not find that success that they need? And I just feel like he doesn't have the player side. I just don't think it's a good match. I just think it's a matter of very soon time.
Well, Mike Woodson's been cursed with having to coach first Josh Smith and then Carmelo Anthony. I mean, he's been stuck with guys that just love shooting the ball. Joe Johnson, for all the flack he gets, he's at least a pretty smart and efficient offensive player. But Carmelo Anthony he's like, he just doesn't really care about efficiency. Right. He just thinks that he needs to make the play every single time, and it's almost impossible to coach a team like that.
I mean, look at the Nuggets after they traded Melo. They were better.
Yeah,
they were.
I mean, granted, they got half the Knicks.
The Nuggets were also in the Western Conference Finals in 2009. I mean, like they've. It's not as though Carmelo's never won before.
No, I agree. But he's never won a championship, and he's barely ever won in the playoffs. I think he's won one. That 1 year was the only year he won a playoff series, I believe.
Last year against the Celtics, but other than that,
okay. Last year.
Also,
before that,
Carmelo Anthony hasn't really been becoming better. You look at all the other top players in the league.
He's a pretty stagnant
They've all been really improving over the last few years. It seems like he hit his peak in 2009. He developed a better post game and a better 3-point shot over the last couple of years.
He can score.
But the way that he wants to play the game has definitely become more detrimental to his team over the past couple of years.
He can score points, but does he make his teammates better? No.
Oh, God.
He doesn't make his teammates better. He's just not a team guy, and I just think the Knicks have a huge decision to make when it comes to re-signing him, at the end of this year, because they traded everybody for him, and if they lose him, it's just kind of like, what a disaster. But if they re-sign him, it's almost like still what a disaster.
I mean, the teammates on the Knicks for Carmelo Anthony are essentially just spectators with the best seats in the house. Yeah.
That's why you almost can't play.
You need to have players around him who actually do things besides get the ball and score. And Tyson Chandler's that kind of player, and he's out right now. Mm-hmm. So we haven't seen the Knicks at full strength, and we saw them last year. They were really good when healthy. They won a playoff series and almost won two. Or not really almost won two. The Pacers killed them.
Right.
But the point is that they need to have players around Carmelo that make sense. They need to have guys who do things besides score. Mm-hmm. And right now the guys that do that are injured. So we can't really judge them right now.
No, I mean, and you said it. Health is a big issue. And health is a big issue. And I'm just going to say, having guys like Mel, having guys like Smith, and like you said, an injured Chandler. It's Felton. Now we're gonna blame Woodson because that's the fall guy. The fall guy is the coach. It always has been, always will be. The coach goes first. The players don't have to follow in this order. It's the coach who does. So It's not all
Carmelo's
Woodson's fault,
coach.
but he's gonna probably be the first move. I feel like the Knicks.
Yeah, but the thing though is that I think they have enough talent to be a good ball club.
They do,
there.
they do.
It's
Before
and
the
if you
year
put
started, yeah.
you put a really good coach in there, they could be a very good team. They could be a very
You
competitive.
gotta find
team.
one.
Yeah.
There's
Not
nothing
just out
fundamentally
there.
they've lost from the team that finished third in the East last year. Like who they lose? Chris Copeland? Like is that what we're talking about? I don't think so.
Realistically, they should be the.
They still have the same
third or
talent.
fourth.
Yeah, and like the 4th seed in the East is still up for grabs. And if this team gets healthy and plays decently with Tyson Chandler back, like they could still finish 4th in this conference. It's not over.
Ahead of the Nets.
Let's not go there.
Okay, I mean the Celtics are only up 3.5 games.
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
Knicks.
yeah.
It's a very
Oh,
it's very small.
I mean, the whole
It's very
division,
small.
like, you know, Toronto's within a game and a half or something. I mean, like...
And Toronto's trading all the
Brooklyn's
great
there.
players away.
Standings
Yeah.
don't even matter right now. They
right.
really don't matter. It's so
They
early
don't.
in the year. Let's not even talk about standings. It's just the fact that they're playing so they're underperforming so much where they really can't get any worse.
Yeah.
They can only go up from there.
All right. Well, this show can't get any worse, so we're going to go to boxing and balling. We'll be right back. Garden Report on Celtics blog and CLNS Radio.